Good evening, everyone. So I want to apologize. Tonight's video is going to be a little bit longer and I might riff a little bit. It's a topic that I really enjoy. And yeah, so tonight I want to talk about suffering, which I apparently really enjoy. And as always, the underlying theme is how does devotion, how does spirituality fit into psychotherapy? And although it applies to everyone, I'm really talking to fellow clinicians and providers and healers. So I'm coming off of a weekend retreat. I just came back from with the Burlington Dharma Collective, putting in a little plug there. Was listening to Zach, the teacher, who I'll link somehow in this so he gets some credit. Been learning so much from him. And on this retreat, there was a question that came up around ignorance. And again, we run into this issue where spirituality and language isn't great. Words really fall short in this realm. And so ignorance isn't really a helpful word in the way that we usually hear it in the English language. But in Buddhist teachings, ignorance points to something very specific. And it's that we are ignorant when we believe that we are separate. And the nature of being human, being born into this body, is that we we inherently kind of believe that we're separate. Like, it is so natural for us to adopt this belief. And that it's actually very difficult for us to conceptualize not being separate. So all of us, to some degree, live with this sense. And it's this misunderstanding, this misinterpretation, this belief in separateness that is ignorance, that is the root of all our suffering. And I've been playing with this analogy that I'll share with you, and I hope it helps. That imagine that we're out on a boat out at sea. As human beings, we're born onto this boat. And most of us, most of the time, we don't even know that we're on a boat. We get rocked around by the sea, we get seasick, and we have no idea what's causing it because we don't even realize that we're on a boat that's in the water. And then something happens. Typically it's significant pain or suffering. And suddenly there's this moment where we glimpse and we have this thought, this moment, we have this reckoning of like, wait, am I on a fucking boat right now? And, the truth is, once that question appears, once we catch that glimpse of the boat, we can't unsee it. We just can't. And so we start to get curious. Am I on a boat right now? Like, how do I know I'm on a boat? What is this boat made of? You start to learn about the ocean, and in that learning, so many things shift. The seasickness doesn't go away, but now you understand it. You know why it's there. You might even know to look to the horizon to make yourself feel better. You might know how to steady yourself in the storm when the waves hit, how to hold on to the ropes. And it changes our relationship to our experience. Sometimes there's an immense amount of joy at being on the boat. And so if we bring ourselves back to this idea of suffering, once we glimpse that maybe we glimpse that we're not separate or as separate as we thought. Once something in us senses that there's more going on, we can't unfeel it. And that curiosity begins. And 3 really remarkable, powerful things happen. First, like I talked about, we develop this understanding, this awareness that can genuinely ease our experience. You know, that idea of looking to the horizon when we get seasick. The second is we start to meet other passengers, people who also know that they're on a boat. And we get together and we begin to wonder, hey, do you think we can get off this thing? Do you think it's possible to get off the boat? And you know, most of us in this lifetime, we're probably not getting off the boat. If you do, if you get enlightened, oh, congratulations. Please come back and help the rest of us, because boy, do we need your help. But for most of us, we're going to be here together trying to understand the boat and the ocean and how to live on it with a little bit more ease and with companionship. Boy, does that make it better. And the third thing that happens is that people who don't know that they're on the boat start to notice us. They notice that when the waves hit, we respond differently. That when we get seasick, we understand what's happening. That we know how to take care of ourselves. And sometimes, not always, it sparks something in them. Not because we tell them, like, hey, bud, you're on a boat, because that does not work. People don't wake up because we tell them to wake up. They wake up because something in them becomes curious, because they see something, they feel something. And then maybe at some point in their own lives, they have that suffering, that opportunity to glimpse, wait, am I on a boat? So, you know, what does this mean for us as clinicians, as providers, as caregivers? Our job is not to get people off the boat. Because guess what? We don't even know how to get off the boat. We are not saving anyone. What we can do is we can come to know the boat ourselves. We can understand intimately the ocean. We can learn how to move with the waves. And then when someone comes to us, and maybe they don't even know that they're on a boat yet, they get to witness how we relate to our experience, how we relate to them. And then maybe someone comes to us and they've had a glimpse. And then we get to walk alongside them. We get to explore with them. We get to name. We get to understand with them. We get to share what we've learned about the boat and the ocean and the sickness, because we've devoted our lives to knowing. And it's not because we're experts above them. It's because we're fellow passengers with them. And you know, maybe this is where the role of a clinician becomes both simpler, more honest, sometimes harder, is that we are not here to take the suffering away. We're not here to get anyone off the boat. We can let them know that it's a possibility. But what we're really doing is learning how to be on the boat with purpose. We're learning that when someone comes to sit across from us in the middle of deep, sometimes excruciating sickness, of painful seasickness, we're not panicking. And we're not trying to fix. We're not changing the ocean And we're not pretending that the waves aren't real. But we know how to steady ourselves with them. We know how to hold on to the ropes because we've turned toward our own experience enough times. We've slipped on the deck enough times to recognize what is happening. And from that place, care starts to look so different. We listen differently. We respond differently. We make space instead of rushing in with resolutions. We're not offering them an escape. We're offering them companionship. Because a human being who knows that they're on the boat and is willing to stay is someone you want to be with. Because when you can do that, when you can give your clients, your patients, something that they can begin to internalize, not just a solution, but a way of relating, a way of being. Over time, it shifts the way that they think, their relationship to pain, their experience. And it's not because we rescued them, but it's because we met them right where they were, on the deck, getting sprayed by the waves. I could go on, I think, for a long time. But I think this analogy is running its course, and I don't want to end. I want to respect your time and attention, which I am so grateful for. And I really want to name, you're not alone either. I'm right there on the boat with my life preserver and a rope tied to the railing. And, if you have any questions, if you have comments, if there are things about this that resonate or don't resonate, let me know. I want to learn from you as well. This is simply my own, I don't know. And I hope you are safe and well. Thank you.